Why do I feel guilty when I'm not busy?
Yeah. What a great question. I think I'm sure everybody resonates with that one. So I'd say, I'm sure you're aware we live in a society that conditions us to equate our worth with being productive. So the guilt you feel is actually a learned response from this. The message we would have received is that if you slow down or rest, then you're being lazy. And so when in actual fact, we need rest. We need rest in order to be able to be productive. Other kind of reasons or influences might be that you might have been praised for being like hardworking. You're such a good girl, you do so well, and you're achieving. So you might kind of start feeling like that's part of your identity as well. So then that's all you can be and all you can do. And therefore, if you slow down, you might end up questioning who you are as a person. You also might have learned to stay busy to avoid feeling discomfort, because a lot of us actually have uncomfortable feelings, and not many of us have learned how to emotionally regulate them. Like most of us haven't. You don't learn it at school. I've got a 10-year-old niece who, she's 10, and she asked for her birthday, she asked for anxiety strategies from me. So I'm like, wow, things are changing, but most of us have never learned how to. Our parents did not know how to regulate themselves, and so we don't need to blame them. We just we understand where it came from. So basically, if we slow down, then all that discomfort comes up, and we don't know what to do with it, and it's terrifying. It feels threatening. So there's probably like the influences, but the solution then, I would say, is I always say curious inquiry. So you're not inquiring or exploring with judgment. It's just curious. Be a curious person and explore the guilt you feel, just to try and understand it. I always like to understand why, and I think it does help us. It's not the solve, but it helps us make sense of it. So where do you think it could come from? Did you perhaps have a parent that was always busy? Whose voice is telling you to stay busy and to not slow down? So you could even explore it further. Would you judge someone else if they were resting? So try and just explore it a little bit in that way. And then what you've got to do is reframe rest to equal productivity. Rest is not laziness. Rest is necessary in order for us to be productive, in order for you to do whatever it is that you love doing. It protects us from burnout. So it's absolutely imperative that we have that balance. And then I'd encourage, with anything, knowledge is one thing, but what I find most people struggle with is in the implementation of things. How do we actually change? So you need to practice resting for, just a short period of time, even if it's just 5 minutes of doing nothing. But I don't want you to be thinking about all the things, that's not resting, because even thinking about difficult things can cause anxiety or stress. So just give yourself permission for 5 or 10 minutes to just read something that's not related to work, or have a nap, or sit and just daydream, or just watch like a bird. I'm a birder, so I'm a weird twitcher, but just do something in nature and just allow yourself to be present in it, just to allow that kind of reprieve from the busyness that we are constantly living in.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what? Was it yesterday or the day before? I had this day where like everyone's out of the house, so I had the whole house to myself. Normally I'm in this shed. And I thought I'll go work inside, and then suddenly I just felt I was on the couch working on the laptop, and I felt really tired, and I thought, I might just close my eyes. And I had like a 20-25 minute nap, and it was completely rejuvenating. And it's like I probably would have struggled through the next 3 hours and not got much done, but instead chose to take that and felt much better for it. So yeah, rest is important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Renee, do you want to just have a...
I thought maybe I should move this artwork from behind me. Work within restful periods. No. I think recovery is incredibly important to performance. So maybe a reframe of it being rest to recovery. And the athletes need recovery, and as people, we need recovery. So I can tell when my stress levels are rising that I need that moment of recovery. And I always find that once I've been for a walk, exercised, had some time in nature, spent some time with my kids or my friends or things that fill my cup, I always feel that kind of reset moment. So for me, you know, it's not always about being busy, but in the busiest moments, you need to even kind of have the recovery to be able to keep going. So definitely it's an essential part of being a high performance individual, is that kind of rest and recovery. So a reframe of it being not busy to being essential.